I think it's important for people to know how you feel so that they don't keep acting or treating you a certain way. I've kept up this strong front, and I am a strong person, but at the same time, I'm a person and things do hurt. I don't care what anyone says, words do hurt, no matter how strong you are. It's important for people to realize that their words do have weight sometimes. And yes, we can knock it off, but sometimes we do have to discuss it, and sometimes we do have to talk about it.
You know that feeling when you are trying so hard for your makeup to turn out well, and it just gets worse. Like you spend all this time applying product and now your face feels heavy, cakey, and somehow both too much and not enough. I have been there many times. I used to dread doing my makeup because it felt like this complicated process that never turned out right. And then I found Jones Road Beauty. It's founded by makeup artist Bobby Brown, and it's all about clean, strategic, minimalist makeup that actually works. No more layering 5 different products and hoping for the best. My go-to product is the Miracle Balm. It's this magic little multitasker that adds a fresh, glowy tint and makes you look like you just got back from a walk, drank a green juice, and slept 9 hours, even if you didn't do any of that. I swipe it on my cheeks, my lips, sometimes even my eyelids, and I'm out the door. It takes seconds. My favorite shades are Cocoa Bronze for a bronzy glow and Golden Hour for a gorgeous golden highlight. And Jones Road also has a full line of effortless skin-first staples that are must-haves. Honestly, this is makeup that feels like it was made for people who are tired of feeling like makeup is a full-time job. Modern day makeup that's clean, strategic, and multifunctional for effortless routines. For a limited time, our listeners are getting a free cool gloss on their first purchase when they use the code LUCKY at checkout. Just head to jonesroadbeauty.com and use code LUCKY at checkout. And after you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Thank you for listening to She's So Lucky. My name is Les. I am your host, and I appreciate you tuning in. Now, if you've listened to the show over the years in all of its various forms, you know how much I am an advocate for people owning and telling their own stories in their own way. And I'm really excited to get into that with today's guest. So I'm very excited to welcome to the show Nia Sioux. Please join me in welcoming Nia. Hello.
Hi.
It's so good to see you.
It's so good to see you too. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. I know we were chatting kind of before we started rolling.
Yeah.
We met earlier this year.
We did.
On a brand trip.
Yep.
That was like very busy.
Very busy. But a lot of fun.
It was.
A lot of fun. I love a cruise.
For sure. We got to have a little cruise moment, and now we're coming back together on another very busy week.
A very busy week. It's fashion week.
Yes.
Yeah. So lots of stuff going on.
Lots of things.
Yeah.
But I was so excited when I found out we were going to get to have you on the show, because even though we chatted a little bit on that trip, like we said, it was very busy.
Yeah.
And so to be able to actually sit down and talk one-on-one with you, I was like, Nia's so sweet. I can't wait to have her.
I've been looking forward to this, honestly. And like after we met and you told me you were a podcaster, I looked into your stuff and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. Like you're so successful and you have great people on your show. So I'm really happy to be here. Very excited.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm super excited to have you. Yeah.
Thanks.
So I'm sure that many people in our audience are very familiar with you because you have kind of been in the spotlight for most of your life at this point.
Right.
A lot of people grew up watching you on Dance Moms.
Right.
You started when you were 9.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, I was 9 when I started.
So incredibly young. You also act. You are also an author. But I would love to just hear more about how you're doing now and the season that you're currently in.
Yeah, it's a really exciting season for me. I mean, I'm 24 now. So I've been, and when the show ended, I was like 15, 16 years old. So I've been removed from it for quite a bit of time now. And I've had time to reflect and gather my thoughts. I'm releasing my memoir, Bottom of the Pyramid, this year. And it's something that I've been working on for the past few years. It's been my passion project. And it feels like I'm really just like coming into my own, really like finding my voice. And being a young woman in this industry and also as an author, it's helped kind of just like shaped the way I've viewed things. You know, I've really had to kind of like go back and like revisit things from when I was younger. And I don't know, I feel like when you're in your 20s, you do a lot of reflection. You're coming out from being a teenager.
Yeah.
There's a lot of change happening. And right now it just feels like there's a lot of change happening, but it also feels like I'm coming into my own and I'm figuring things out like one step at a time. And writing this book has been very helpful in doing that and figuring my life out.
And 24, I feel like that's such an interesting age because it's like you are still so young, but you're
But I'm
like
still an
also
adult.
settling
Yeah.
into adulthood. Yeah. So it's
very
like
weird.
you, in the grand scheme of things, are still a very young person, but it's almost the first time that you really see things with adult eyes.
Yes, yes.
And it's, I'm sure, just such an interesting period of time to reflect on those experiences now as an adult and be able to understand things in different ways.
For sure. For sure. Just being an adult and understanding things. I mean, I'm 24, which means frontal lobe technically hasn't developed all
But
the
you're
way,
right there.
but I'm right
It's there.
It's developing. It's
Yeah.
developing. And I feel it. I feel it. But yeah, it's been interesting to kind of like go through life as an adult. You just think of things differently. And I see things differently now.
Yeah. I joked that I felt my frontal lobe turn on, and it almost felt like on That's So Raven when Raven would have a vision and she was just like, "Oop." It was like one day, it was like, oh, my
It just
brain
clicked one
is
day.
on. It just
People
like
keep telling
happened.
me that. They're like, no, like when I was 25, like it clicked.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that. A little nervous. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean it clicked? I don't know if I want to get that.
No, you'll be fine. It's like, it's just like a light switch where it's like,
Okay.
oh, okay, now all the lights are on.
Right. Okay. Okay. I'm
The best way I
excited
can
for that
describe
moment.
it.
I'll let you know when it happens.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you're already like so smart and like it
Thank
probably
you.
won't
Thank
feel
you.
that different, but it's
Okay.
like, okay, like I'm fully awake now.
I'm fully awake. I want to be fully awake.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would love to get into the writing process of this book for you.
Yes.
As you mentioned, it took you a few years
Mhm.
doing a lot of reflecting, particularly on your childhood experiences. What was it like to revisit so many of those experiences your younger self had?
Yeah, it's interesting. The whole book itself, although I'm, sharing my experiences that sometimes weren't, happy experiences, I still kind of like look back on those times and am so happy. Some of these experiences are negative, but I'm really trying to like turn things around and turn things into a positive and turn things into a learning lesson, honestly. So going back to watch the show sometimes was really hard. I'm not gonna lie. Seeing baby Nia, like 9-year-old Nia on TV, me watching her sometimes didn't feel like me. Like it felt like me, but it didn't feel like me. Um, and having like, you know, my eyes watch the show now, it just seems so different.
Yeah.
And it was hard sometimes to kind of remind myself of things that had happened on the show because some of the things that happened on the show were very difficult to go through. And I try not to think of them too much because, I always try to look forward. But
Absolutely.
I've learned that it's also very important to kind of go back and like revisit things and get that closure. I feel like I never really had closure from the show. It took up such a huge part of my life and literally like my whole childhood. So having the opportunity to just like go back and watch myself through like the lens of how America saw things was also very different from like how I remember things happening as well. And kind of comparing the two, like what you see on TV, but what I actually felt, how I actually experienced things, what else went on whenever the cameras were off, you know what I mean? So it was a really weird kind of thing to go through and sometimes really sad. I would have to take breaks sometimes because it would be a lot. It would be a lot. But it also has been very healing to just be able to have the space to talk about things, to revisit them. Because my mom will go back and watch the episodes with me. And also just to do that with my mom too was like, it was really special as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense because that you experienced it together the first
Mhm.
time to revisit it together as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. How has closure felt for you? What has closure looked like for you
Yeah.
since then?
I think writing this book truly feels like the official closure. Like, okay, I'm turning the chapter because or turning the page because I feel like for so long I stayed quiet about things. I never really talked about my experience on Dance Moms. I tried my best to kind of like stray away from it because it brings up a lot of like not great memories. And by the end of the show run, like the bad outweighed the good, you know? So it was really hard for me to kind of like just like talk about the show. I don't love drama. I know like that probably seems really surprising to people, especially since I'm writing a book called Bottom of the Pyramid. But like genuinely, I don't like drama. I like to stay out of it. And that's part of the reason why I kind of waited to to write the book for a while because I don't want to like cause a scene. I don't want people to like be mad, but at the same time, in order to have closure, my story needs to be told. And my story was never told. And I never had a chance to actually like talk about what I went through, how I felt about things, especially being the only Black girl on the show for like a majority of the show run. You know, that's a really big deal. And I never talked about that. And that's a huge part of like who I am and my identity. And I feel like it's also not only just like my story, but a lot of other girls have gone through similar experiences that I have. So it's important to share our stories so that we can learn and grow from them. And now that I've been able to like write the book, I feel like I can finally kind of put this in the past because for so long I've just kind of pushed everything back, like pushed everything down where it's like, it's gonna go away, it's gonna go away. But you know what? It's been years since the show finished airing and it's on all these streaming platforms. It's has like millions and millions of like hits on like TikTok. Like the hashtag there's so many Dance Mom hashtag. It's crazy. So I'm like, it's not dying down
Yeah,
anytime
or like
soon.
viral sounds
Exactly. Exactly. And I feel like in order to like actually like be able to enjoy this moment where it's still kind of, you know, big, people still are interested in the show. It's important to talk about this because we're also in a different day and age where we can actually have these types of
yeah.
conversations.
And what can be really healing about talking about experiences you had as a child, as an adult, is
Mhm.
when you're a kid, even being in those spaces where it's like you're the only Black girl who's having this experience for an
Yeah.
extended amount of time. As a kid, you feel it, but you
Yes.
don't necessarily have the words for it yet.
Right.
And
You
then when
don't
you
have a
can
way
put
of
it into
articulating
words,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is a level of release where it's like the feeling was always there, but now you
Always
can
there.
explain it.
That's really interesting you brought that up because I wanted to write a book for a really long time. Ever since I ended the show, I've always wanted to write a book about my experiences. But 16-year-old me, like writing a book about what I experienced, even though I'm still a teenager, even though I was 16, I still needed more life experiences. I still needed to like step away from the show for a while to actually see it for what it was and to actually like articulate and like put down my thoughts, you know? Because when you're in those environments, like especially as a child, you know what's going on, but you don't have the bandwidth to kind of explain how you feel and you don't have that like that emotional intelligence to handle all of those feelings, especially when you're in it. So, yeah, that has been very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm happy now that I finally like have the strength and like the voice and like the words to actually articulate how I felt and like actually share with people what I went through. Like, you know, there's a lot there and I'm excited for people to read this book because it is so layered. Like there's so many things that happen on the show where I'm sure my castmates, I'm sure producers, I'm sure production had no idea I even felt these things. Had no idea I even felt this way. But also how would they know? I was a child and also like it's not like any of them would be able to kind of relate to me in the way as, like, being the only Black girl on the show, like, they're not going to be able to relate to that, you know? So, yeah, it's been a long time coming, but it is so important for me to tell my story how I saw it from my eyes, from my personal experiences, because so many people have talked about their side of things, and that's great for them. Uh, but at the same time, my story also deserves to be shared and told. And I'm not here to protect anyone, you know? And although I'm not trying to put people down or bash or like, I don't like to just make people look bad. It's not what the book is about. The book is really just about Nia, baby Nia, finally getting to share her life and her story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was there anything in particular that made now feel like the right time for you to share that story?
Yeah, there were quite a few factors in that. One of the biggest ones though is that after 2020, honestly, with the rise of the BLM movement, it has been there's been a shift in media and on social media as well. Um about the way we talk about race and and issues related, you know? I feel like before that you couldn't really like you could to a certain extent, but I feel like there's more space, there's more room for people to actually understand race related issues, and that's part of the reason why I felt like it was time for me to share my story. I was a junior in high school when I finally like it finally clicked and was like, "You know what? Like, it's time. I feel ready to talk about this," you know? And I was like and I think the world's ready too. If I would've put something out like this years ago, it probably would have been watered down. It probably wouldn't have well, 1, because I was younger, but also because of just the time it was as well. But now since we're in a post 2020 world, um, I think people are gonna be more receptive to it, and more people will have, I guess, like, the education to kinda, like, handle all of this and kinda, like, sort through it. It's a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
but it's very necessary.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. Lately, I have been so focused on intentionality. Like, I want fewer things, but better things. The pieces I wear on repeat, the linens I sleep on, even the towels I reach for every day. They should feel good, look good, and last. And that is why I love Quince. They make high quality essentials for your wardrobe and your home at prices that don't feel ridiculous. Think $50 Mongolian cashmere sweaters, perfectly broken in denim, and wool coats that look designer but don't come with a luxury markup. And it's not just fashion they offer. I have been slowly refreshing my apartment, and Quince's home collection has been a game changer. Their linen bedding, bath towels, even storage pieces. Everything feels elevated and well made, but still relaxed, livable, and within my budget. What makes it all possible is that Quince partners directly with top tier ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen, so you get luxury quality at a fraction of the price. It's thoughtful, accessible, and honestly, it makes shopping feel fun again. So if you are refreshing your wardrobe or your home for fall and winter, make sure you check out Quince. You can get your fall staples at Quince by going to quince.com/balanceless for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. And they're now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/balanceless to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/balancedless. Can I just say there's nothing more powerful than a woman with a vision and the right tools? Because having a big idea is one thing, but actually bringing it to life, that is where Shopify comes in. Whether you're dreaming about a product, a service, or a full blown brand, Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. I know that starting a business can feel like a lot. I remember staring at blank pages, wondering how to make what I was doing feel legit. But Shopify helps you skip the how do I even start phase. You get hundreds of ready to go templates that actually look good, AI tools to write your product descriptions and polish your images, and built in tools to run your email and social campaigns like a pro. It's like having a branding, tech, and marketing team in your corner, minus the group chat and payroll. And the backend is super user friendly. You can manage inventory, payments, shipping, returns, and analytics all in one place. And if something's just not working, Shopify's 24/7 customer support is there to walk you through it. So if you've been sitting on an idea, this is your sign. Turn your big business idea into with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/balanceblackgirl. Go to shopify.com/balanceblackgirl. Again, shopify.com/balanceblackgirl. Protein is everywhere right now, and for good reason, but not all protein is created equal. And honestly, I have been using Ritual's essential protein long before it was trending on TikTok. It's a clean, plant based protein that I actually enjoy drinking. The handcrafted vanilla flavor is so good, and I love that it doesn't have any added sugar, sugar alcohols, or stevia, which is rare in a protein. Ritual's been a part of my routine for years now, not just their protein, but I also swear by their Symbiotic Plus for gut health. The quality and care they put into every formula really stands out. Everything is deeply researched, third party tested, and designed to work together so you're not guessing when you take it. What I love about the essential protein specifically is that it's made from regeneratively farmed, non GMO peas grown in the US, and it provides 20 grams of protein and a complete amino acid profile to support muscle and recovery. It's clean, it's effective, and it doesn't upset my stomach, which has always been a deal breaker with other protein powders. Plus, it's informed sport certified, so every batch is tested for 250 plus banned substances. So if you care about what you're putting in your body, Ritual makes it easy to take the best. So why not shake up your ritual? Get 25% off of your first month of Ritual when you visit ritual.com/balanced and add essential protein today. That's ritual.com/balanced for 25% off your first month. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I'm also curious how you feel about being perceived, which sounds like a
Yeah.
very broad statement, but I do think so many people have almost perception fatigue because we're
Yes.
perceiving each other all the time, social
Right.
media, all of the things. But I think someone who grew up in a position like you did from being perceived on such a wide scale from such a young age,
Mhm.
did you ever have any moments where you felt like you wanted to kind of pull back and reclaim being perceived just for yourself? And what was that like?
Yeah. I'm a people pleaser, and it's like so it's like it's very hard to be a people pleaser when you're on a show where you're never pleasing the people you're supposed to be pleasing, and also you're not really pleasing the world either. So it's very it's very interesting kind of going through life knowing that people see you a certain way and you don't really have any control over that. You kinda learn that lesson from a young age, like, you have no control over how people see you, and, actually, the title of the book, Bottom of the Pyramid, I know it probably shocked a lot of people. I think I even saw some comments that were like, "Oh, it's so sad that Nia, like, like, titled her book Bottom of the Pyramid," and someone commented underneath it and was like, "Well, obviously, like, that's how she lived like, that was literally part of her life. That's literally how she lived her life. How do you think she feels about that?" Like, and I'm like, that's
Yeah.
exactly the point.
Yeah.
Because that was the label I was given on the show, it has kind of, like, followed me throughout my whole life. And there's nothing I could really do to shed that title. So, part of the reason why I gave my book that title was to kind of reclaim it, honestly. It's so important for me to, like, share with people that no matter how you're perceived, only you really get to dictate who you are as a person. You know, I don't see myself as being at the bottom of the pyramid, and other people might, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because I know who I am and I know what I've done and I know that I've been successful, even though people have put this label on me. It's really just me kind of reclaiming that title and turning it into a positive because it is a negative title. You know, it's kind of putting someone it's kind people will probably think it's putting myself down, but instead it's really finally sharing my side of the story, my side of things, especially like I think it's important for people to know how you feel so that they don't keep acting or like treating you a certain way.
Right.
You know, I've kept up like this strong front and I am a strong person, but at the same time, I'm a person and things do hurt. Like words, I don't care what anyone says, words do hurt no matter how strong you are. And it's important for people to realize that their words do have weight sometimes. And yes, we can knock it off, but sometimes we do have to discuss it and sometimes we do have to talk about it. Um so yeah, the title has so much meaning behind it. It's literally like my baby, you know? And I I really dive deep in the book about what it means to be perceived and how I perceive myself and how I think people perceive me. If that makes sense. So yeah, I talk about all those issues about being young and being perceived, but then also being an adult, a young adult, and still having those same perceptions from people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that. I know when I first saw the title of the book, I thought it was like really bold. That was
Yeah.
the first word that came to my mind.
Really?
I didn't think it was sad. I thought it
Okay,
was
good.
I thought that it was bold. I
Okay,
thought it
good.
was like it was like a statement
Yeah.
of arrival. Like
For
I'm
sure.
here
Mhm.
and I'm owning my story, the good, the bad, the ugly, all
Yes.
parts of it
All parts of it.
from every angle.
Yes, yes. Okay, good.
Yeah.
You get
That was
it.
my perception.
Okay, good. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. It's supposed to make a statement. It's supposed to make people stop, think, and have some sort of reaction, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that there is this weird dichotomy between particularly online culture and how we consume media and how we talk about people in media, where
Right.
people behind a keyboard think it's okay to like kind of talk a little crazy and
Always.
say anything.
And say anything.
But then when you acknowledge the thing that people say, it's like, oh no. Now it's time for eggshells. And it's like, no, if you said it, stand 10 fingers down on the keyboard of
yeah, say it with your
of what you
chest.
said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk about it.
Say it in person.
Yes,
Never would.
for sure. Never would. Never would.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. People love to hide behind the keyboard. Like, what do they call them? Keyboard warriors.
yeah.
Like, you know,
Clear
like we
fingers.
gotta tone it down. Gotta tone. And if you're gonna act crazy online, be prepared for people to act crazy back.
Yeah. Be ready to back it up.
Be ready to back it up. Like, okay, let's talk about it. Let's
Yeah.
chat then.
Yeah.
Since you guys want to talk about it so much.
Exactly. Exactly. Through the whole process of revisiting the experiences of your younger self,
Mhm.
was there anything that you learned about yourself?
Oh, yeah. For sure. I think I always knew that I was strong, but like I didn't really understand. I didn't realize how strong I really was for going through all that. Like I always like was like, yeah, like I'm strong. But like truly looking back at all the things I went through, all the people I dealt with, all the emotions I felt, I'm honestly like I'm really proud I came out whole from that whole situation. And I have my family to thank for that cuz they're literally the best. But genuinely, that was something I found out about myself. And I also found out that I'm more comfortable I'm comfortable talking about my experiences now. Of course, like yeah, like yes, you're writing a book, but still some people write things, people talk about things, but yet they still don't necessarily want to talk about it. I feel like I'm very open and honest about how I feel about things. You know, I feel like I learned that I'm kind of like an open book, and I'm happy to like have these discussions, and I'm not as scared as I used to be. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of what I've learned.
Yeah.
I still keep a lot of the traits from when I was younger, but I've also changed a lot too. And I've realized that I've changed a lot because now I feel like, man, I'm not scared of these people anymore. I don't care what people say. Whereas before, I was so nervous about what people would think. And, I never want to hurt people's feelings that, like, but at the same time, I was like, you know what? Like, other people get to share their stories, and I'm not going to share mine because, you know, I'm scared of what people might think. That's not fair. And yeah, so that was something I kind of learned about myself, that I'm kind of an open book, and I'm still like a work in progress too. Yeah. And I probably always will be.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. And even thinking about growing up doing something like competitive dance does put you in a position where you are being judged constantly. That is
Right.
the name of the game.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, you're used to being in a position where people are constantly judging what you're doing and
Mhm.
how you move and how you look and all of these things, that it probably is really hard to shed some of that feeling like you're just being judged constantly and like it's normal for people to come at you with judgment constantly.
Right. Yeah. I feel like it was so normalized for me, where when it happens, I don't think anything really of it, because again, like, to me, I'm like, "Oh, that's normal." But honestly, like, it's not. It's not normal.
Yeah, or even the resilience that I'm sure you had to develop in that environment to you probably felt normal. And it's
Right.
also like, no, that's
Exactly.
actually an
Yes.
incredibly high level of resilience.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And that's another thing, like, growing up, I watched things, and I'm like, "Wow," like, at the time, I was like, "Yeah, this is just normal. This is just the way things are." But, like, it's not normal. And there were certain times, there were certain parts where of things where I knew weren't normal. Like, some things were normal, some things weren't, and I knew that. But even when the things I knew even if I knew something wasn't normal, it's also all I knew. So it's so when certain things would happen and people are like, "Well, why did she react that way? Da, 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 da." I don't know, cuz for me, it was just kind of the way things were, and even if I didn't like it, or even if I knew that that wasn't really how it should be, I don't really have control or power, or the power to, like, change things. So, I think that's also, like, another perspective on it as well.
Yeah, it's like that's your world.
Yeah,
You
it's
don't
my
know any
world.
different,
Yeah, you're,
especially
like,
as
in
a
this bubble.
child.
Yeah, exactly. And I think anyone who has been in sports, honestly, can kind of, like, relate to some degree of just, like, being in a really, like, intense environment, and, like, doing certain things, and you're like, "Oh, yeah, like, pushing myself till, like, I can't move anymore, like, that's I don't know if that's necessarily normal, but it's all you know." Yeah.
Yeah.
So, unlearning bad habits, and also just, like, recognizing when things are normal, and recognizing, like, things can be better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just because you could do something doesn't mean you should.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. How has your relationship with dance evolved over time, and what is it like now?
It is, like, always, like, changing and evolving. Um, my relationship with dance has been quite the journey. I started dancing at the age of 2. So I started dancing when I was, like, really young. Um, and I talk about my dance journey a lot in the book. I write about, the times where I felt like quitting, and the times where I finally got back into the studio after time off, and, like, kind of how that affected me, especially, like, mentally. Um, But for me right now, my relationship with dance is good. It's a positive. Um, I still dance from time to time, every now and then. I actually danced in college. I was a part of a student-led dance club, and that was like a lot of fun, very therapeutic, and very healing. It was great. I don't get to dance as much as I would like to anymore, but not because I don't like it. It's more just because I'm busy. Dance is always going to be something that's a part of me because it's just like who I am at my core. It is still hard for me to like kind of like put myself out there with dancing nowadays, especially with I know we just talked about like, oh, it doesn't matter what people say. People are very critical, and that
And
I
it still hurts. You're
and it's
still
still
human.
exactly it still hurts, still human. So I like to keep like certain parts of my dancing, like kind of like just to me, because it is scary out there, and I don't know if I really want to deal with people saying crazy things.
Yeah. And also the people who talk the craziest, it's like, let's see you dance. And they probably can't, but they have the most to say.
They have the most to say. It's like, okay, then can you do a split?
Right.
I doubt you can.
No.
Like,
Right.
I just like I'm like I don't even dance every day anymore, and I can still do my splits. Like, please give me a break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I am glad to hear that you had that experience in college where you got to experience dance for fun. Like that does
Yes.
sound really, really healing.
Yeah, it was. It was. So now when I dance, it's genuinely just for fun. Like I don't go to like dance auditions or anything. That's not my thing. But I've had so much fun just getting to dance for myself, and it has brought me so much joy, especially over the past like 4 or 5 years. It's been a really beautiful journey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Are there any things that dance, even outside of your experiences doing it competitively, that dance as a practice has taught you or qualities that it's instilled in you that you're glad you have?
Yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely. I feel dance has taught me so much. This is kind of like this is a silly one. I'll get into like deeper ones but like a very silly one of mine is like spatial awareness.
Oh, that's
When
a good one.
when I go out and about and through the public, people are not aware of their surroundings. Like they're not spatially aware. And I feel like if everyone grew up dancing or like had some kind of dance training, they'd be more aware of like their environment or like their spatial awareness. Um I'm so happy that I have like I'm not saying like I'm the most spatially aware, but I'm just saying it helps, and I think that everyone needs dance lessons in order to be spatially aware. Anyway, moving on from that one.
That is a good one, though.
Thank you. But moving on, it's taught me so much. Like being a hard worker, um, being I guess like what's drawing a blank on the word. You would probably think of it before me. I can't even think right now.
Like discipline or like
Thank you.
Oh, great.
Discipline.
Great.
Yes. It made me very disciplined for
Mhm.
sure. Making sure you get to dance on time, making sure you have the right tights, the right dance clothes, making sure like all of those things add up, and it has truly made me who I am today. Like having discipline, having work ethic, and having that courage to like even if you mess up, to keep going, to go again, to keep getting better. It teaches you so much about yourself and also just like about your body as well. I've learned a lot about like how my body works and like when to take breaks and when I need to push myself more, and when I know like hey, like it's time to kind of like take a step back, reset, and then like go again tomorrow. Like, you know. Um it's helped with so many things. It's taught me how to work with difficult people, because I feel like just in the dance world, you're going to work in any kind of world. You're just going to deal with difficult people, even without the TV show, you know. You're going to work with interesting people. I mean, the list goes on. Dance provides so much to people, and there's so much education to be learned from dance as well. Like, the history of dance itself is, like, so rich in culture, there's so much we can gain from dance, like, with its history, but also just, like, about how your body works, how your body moves, and then also how it trains your mind. It makes you a really strong person, and it makes you, like, a courageous person, and it makes you someone who, you know, doesn't take no for an answer. It keeps you going, and I think it's really special. So whenever people ask me, they're like, "Oh, like, do you wish you never did?" No, like, dance is amazing, and I encourage, like, anyone who is even interested to go take a dance lesson, to learn how to dance. Like, it is so freeing and it's so fun, and when you dance for fun, it genuinely brings you so much joy, and yeah, it's really important. It's really important, and I do think that for me, I've seen the good and, like, the really bad parts of dance, like, the really ugly of it all, and I still think that, like, kids should go to dance class and they should be in that environment, in a good environment. Maybe not the same one I was in, but they should be in an environment where they can express themselves freely and have fun with dance. It's such a great tool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That piece about that, like, body awareness is so huge.
Yeah.
I used to, in a past life, be a personal trainer and a fitness instructor,
Mhm.
and I could always tell when a client, and no matter how in or out of shape they were, if they
Mhm.
had some sort of background either doing dance or some sort of
Of
sport when
course.
they were younger,
Yeah.
because there is this sense of body awareness and then also this sense of, like, coachability.
Yes.
You know what I
Yeah. Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Where it's like you can tell them how to do something and you can tell that they're processing it and metabolizing it and doing it in ways that people who didn't have those experiences of movement when they were younger, it was never impossible, but it just
Right.
took them longer to get
Of
there.
course. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's not like it's impossible, but I think things just click faster whenever you've had that kind of upbringing in a dance environment or any kind of, like, athletic environment. You're just very in tune with your body and its capabilities.
Here's the thing. I love feeling good. I just don't love the 12-step routine some people swear you need to get there. I want wellness that fits into my actual life, not something I have to build my whole morning around. That's why I'm into Groons. It's a once-a-day gummy pack, not a powder, not a pill, and not some giant capsule that you have to choke down. You just grab a pack, eat it, and move on with your day. Now, what makes it different? It's not just a multivitamin, it's your greens, your prebiotics, and your daily nutrients all in one. You're getting over 20 vitamins and minerals, 60 clean ingredients, and 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is wild because that's more fiber than most powders and more than 2 cups of broccoli, but way less effort to consume. They're vegan, gluten free, dairy free, nut free, and don't have any of that artificial flavor. And because they're in gummy form, they're actually more bioavailable, meaning your body uses the nutrients better. I've been taking them consistently for a few months now, and I love how easy it is to stay consistent with them because it feels like a treat, not a task, which, let's be honest, is the secret to sticking with anything. So if you're in the market for something simple that works, check out Groons. Go to groons.co and use the code LUCKY at checkout for up to 52% off your first order. That's gruns.co and code LUCKY for up to 52% off. There are a lot of health snacks out there that talk a big game and then leave you crashing an hour later or wondering what that weird aftertaste was. So, when I find something that actually supports my body and brain and tastes good, I stick with it. And lately, that's been Mosh Bars. Founded by Maria Shriver and her son, Patrick Schwarzenegger, Mosh was created to spark a conversation about brain health and to make smart snacking actually doable. After watching her father navigate Alzheimer's, Maria committed herself to funding research and creating tools that support mental well-being. And that is where Mosh was born. Each bar is formulated with over 6 brain and body nutrients, including things like ashwagandha, lion's mane, collagen, omega 3s, and cognizin, a premium nootropic that supports a healthy brain. And they're actually good. So, my favorite flavor is the cookies and cream. And I'm also really loving the new chocolate chip plant plant-based bar. I keep them in my bag for the post-meeting slump, after workouts, or if I need a quick snack in between recordings. And here's what really seals it for me. Every purchase helps fund gender-based brain health research through the women's Alzheimer's movement. Because while 2/3 of Alzheimer's patients are women, the research still hasn't caught up. And Mosh is helping to close that gap. If you want to find ways to give back to others and fuel your body and your brain, Mosh bars are the perfect choice for you. Head to moshlife.com/lucky to save 20% off, plus free shipping on the bestsellers trial pack or the new plant-based trial pack. That's 20% off plus free shipping on either the bestsellers trial pack or the plant-based trial pack at moshlife.com/lucky. Thank you to Mosh for sponsoring this episode. I've been in a season of redefining what self-care actually means. Not just the surface level stuff, but the real things that help me feel calm, clear, and like myself again. And lately, one of the tools that's helped me stay grounded has been mood.com, an online cannabis company that makes functional THC gummies designed to support your body and your mind in very real, very specific ways. Whether it's a day where your brain won't slow down or a night where sleep feels like a distant memory, Mood has a gummy for that. And they're all made with 100% federally legal THC blends delivered right to your door. Now, their sleepy time gummies are a game changer. I fall asleep within minutes, stay asleep, and wake up without that weird groggy feeling. And when I need a mood boost, especially if I'm overstimulated or burned out, their epic Euphoria gummies help me reset without checking out. What makes Mood stand out is how they combined THC and other cannabinoids with herbs and adaptogens. So every gummy is targeted, thoughtful, and unlike anything you'll find at a dispensary. They've got blends for everything: immune support, mental clarity, PMS, menopause, even intimacy. And it's well crafted using cannabis grown on small family-owned American farms with no pesticides or sketchy additives. They even back everything with a 100-day satisfaction guarantee, which I love, and they ship to most states. So if your version of self-care could use a little more support and a little less overthinking, check out mood.com. Use the promo code LUCKY to get 20% off your first order. That's mood.com, promo code LUCKY.
Earlier, we had talked a bit about when you had gone back to rewatch the show with your mom and kind of that experience together. Obviously, you and your mom were on the show together. It was very much centered around your relationship. I'm curious, now that you have revisited a lot of these stories, you put them in the book, is there anything that your mom has now learned about your experience that maybe she didn't get or catch the first time around?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Um, I feel like I don't know if she has things where that have come up for her, but I'm sure there has been things that have come up for her over like the past few years writing this book where she has learned more about like how I felt or like how I saw certain things. And it's very interesting, like talking about certain moments with my mom too, because I'm like, oh yeah, this happened. And my mom was like, what? Well, like she was like, oh, that's what you thought of that moment? Like, this is what really happened. This is what someone so said. Like, that's why I was mad. And you're like, wow, my mind is blown. Like,
Yeah, like you remember things so
yeah.
differently and have
You
such
remember
different
things so differently.
perspectives.
Yeah, yeah. Or like some things that would happen, um, like to me, or I would say for me, I always knew that my mom was like strong and would like go to bat for me. But now as an adult, like I truly like I don't know how she did that. Genuinely. Like she went 7 seasons on a reality TV show and didn't curse. Like that's like actually unheard of. Like that's actually unheard of. Like I don't know how she did it. My mom and I have a very special relationship. Like we have a very strong bond. She's literally my best friend. I learned that that's like not the norm for like a lot of people, which is very interesting because for me, like my mom was like my rock, my world, you know? I
Yeah.
always knew, but like I really like know and appreciate now how much she really did for me back then. And I know like people honestly, actually, the hardest part of like writing the book or like the hardest part about like talking about anything from the show is people saying that my mom was a bad mom. That's like the only thing that truly gets under my skin. You can say I was a bad dancer. You can say what. That's like the one thing that truly gets under my skin, because my mom was never a bad mom. And she genuinely like always put me first, no matter what. And I hope that when people like read this book, they realize everything she really did and understand like the complexities of like the situations. Um I know that people are they're always going to have their opinions, you know, like not everyone's also going to care about all of this, but I do just have to recognize being an adult and seeing what she did. I don't know how she did it. I wouldn't be able to do that. Like I hold her composure, be able to put people in their place without being like cruel and mean-spirited. It really is amazing, and it like shows her character, you know? So that's
Absolutely.
something that like personally I have learned throughout this whole process. I'm like, dang mom, like you really did that. Like I don't know how you did it. And she was an educator, she was a principal for the first 2 seasons of the show. She was still a principal of of a middle and elementary school. She has a husband. She has 2 other kids besides me, you know? She was writing her dissertation for her doctorate at the time. Like she did, and was on a reality show. Like there's she was doing so much. It's really incredible how she was able to like keep her composure and be able to like also come out whole and like not lose her mind.
No easy feat.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things about adulthood, getting older and seeing your parents in that different light, or
Yeah.
seeing them as whole humans themselves. Because when you're
Mhm.
younger, you really only think of them as, well, this is my mom and that's just who she is.
Right.
And then when you get older and you can see the whole human,
Mhm.
it just gives you such a different
It
perspective.
does. It's weird seeing your parents as people. I'm like, "What
Yeah.
do you mean? You're not just my mom."
Right.
Like
Right.
it's like I don't know. It's really crazy to see my mom be like human. Even though like she always was, but like she's like a superwoman in my eyes. She's a superhero, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I feel like that's part of the frontal lobe development around
Yes.
that same, you start to realize like, oh,
It's like, "Oh,
oh,
oh,
now
that
that I'm an adult,
really
it's
was
like, oh
hard."
my goodness. Like, what were you doing? That's a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, mom, like, do you need a
Yeah.
hug?"
Right. Right.
Yeah, so that has been just so interesting. Also just navigating, life with her and how she felt about things, and yeah, she's also very excited for the book.
I'm
She
sure.
also is very excited.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure. And it sounds like has been very supportive throughout the whole process for
Yeah.
you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Has been supportive throughout the whole process. Even like my dad, my brothers, like my friends, like I have like a really great support system who is helping me in like any way, who has been there like as a person to lean on, and have just been amazing, have been rock stars, you know? I have a team of people helping me with this, and they've been amazing, and I'm excited that, um, I have, like, a team who's, like, rallied behind me, you know? Like, it doesn't feel like I'm just going into this alone, you know? I have people I can truly lean on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what's so important about telling honest stories like this is also you can kind of give that feeling to other people who may have
Yes.
had their versions
Yeah.
of this experience and felt really alone in it and
Mhm.
realize that they aren't.
Yes. I definitely want people to be able to, like, take this book and see a little bit of themselves in it, you know? I mean, this story is truly, like, an underdog story, you know? And I think a lot of people have felt this way and have been in not these situations, but have been in very similar situations. And it's important to tell these stories because everyone's story matters. And the more we share, the more good we can do, you know? And we don't make the same mistakes, and we learn and we grow. And that's why telling stories are so important, you know? knowledge is power.
Yeah. One thing that you just said about people who feel like they may have been underdogs at some
Mhm.
point, I would love to get a little bit more into that because I do think when people have experiences where they are consistently being underestimated,
Mhm.
I'm so curious what that does to someone over time.
Yeah.
Does that start to carry over into other areas where you feel
Mhm.
like you're being underestimated in other parts of life? Do you feel this really need to prove yourself even in
Mhm.
areas where you may not need to or
Right.
where it may not be necessary? I'm just curious if you've had any experiences that felt like that.
For sure. I think that, like, being the underdog, like, really, like, has grown into, like, different areas in my life. When you're in an environment like that for so long and you are just told constantly, like, every day, "You're not good enough," like, "People are trying to get rid of me." This is like, it's a lot, and I feel like it has definitely kinda, like, moved into other parts of my life, but I try really hard, and I've been doing the work, and I've done it, but it is really challenging to all it's really challenging to want to always have to prove yourself, you know?
And
It's
exhausting.
exhausting. It's exhausting, and, although I, uh, I feel like, I'm always trying to prove myself, at the end of the day, I do realize, like, I'm really just trying to, like, get better or, like, prove stuff for myself instead of, like, really other people. I hold myself up to, like, a really high standard, and I feel like, do I need to? No, and I'm still working on that, but for me, even just, like, knowing, like, "Hey, I don't necessarily have to do certain things unless I genuinely want to." I don't have to prove myself to anyone except really myself, and that has helped me a lot, like, reframing it, like, not having to prove myself to other people. I'm not trying to prove myself to, past instructors, past teachers, past whoever, like, or even just, like, you know, the audience watching. I'm not trying to prove myself to, like, them. It's really just for myself, Like, I'm taking these moments to just kinda, like, be selfish and, like, not care about how people perceive me, and of course, there's always times where I get in my head, but I am just trying to be the best version of myself, and sometimes it's hard. It's a hard, like, balance. Sometimes the line gets blurred between, like, working on yourself and, like, trying to prove something, but it's very important to just kind of reframe it as, like, I'm always gonna be a work in progress. I'm always gonna be working on myself and always just want the best for myself. So as long as I put me first, then I don't really have to prove myself to anybody else. So yeah, that's something that's helped me, but I do also recognize that, like, being the underdog, like, there's so many layers to it, and of course everyone's story is different, but at the end of the day, like, I feel like underdogs always end up on top because they're hard workers and they get what they want.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm just always gonna keep going no matter, even if paths shift, no matter what, like, I'm always gonna keep doing what's best for me.
Which I think is like the best thing you can do and the
Yeah.
only thing we really can do.
Yeah, and honestly, it's very healing and it's very, like, it's very calming, it's very settling to, like, know that you don't owe anyone anything, you don't have to prove yourself, like, all you really have to do is just make sure that you're good and you're on your right path.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think, like, us feeling good is the definition of good enough,
Yeah,
and
yeah, exactly.
it's even though we're in many situations where we are being graded and scored and all of
Of
these
course,
things,
yeah.
ultimately, we're not in the grand scheme of things and how we show up as people and how we feel each day and coming to that point, as hard as it
Mhm.
is really where we come full circle, I
Yeah.
think.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah. Nia, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much,
This was
Les. I
such a good
appreciate
conversation.
it.
I'm so excited for our audience to get to listen, also for our audience to get to read the book. Can
Yeah,
you remind
thank
us
you.
when it's coming out?
Yes, Bottom of the Pyramid comes out November 4th. I'm
Perfect.
so excited.
Perfect. I think we'll probably be having this episode out around then, so we'll link it in the show notes
Okay,
so that everyone can
lovely.
check it out.
Okay, yay.
Yeah.
Yay, check it out,
Yes,
guys,
thank you
please.
so much.
Thank you.
Perfect. And thank y'all so much for tuning in. So if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you rate, review. You can subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, wherever you like to listen and watch. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.